Strange things you didn't know about Stephen Curry. Steph Curry, the NBA's most lethal sharpshooter, has a dark side. From playing half of his career virtually blind to nearly causing the death of an NBA player. These strange facts about Curry's life are more shocking than you could ever imagine. 3,390. No, that's not the number of steps Curry's taken on court, but the staggering count of his three-pointers. And the most shocking part, he was shooting the ball partially blind. Yes, this list starts off wild when you learn that Steph has a rare eye condition known as keratoconus. This story began when Curry was spotted squinting at the scoreboard during a game. When his GM, Bob Myers, asked about it, Steph casually mentioned he could only see the color orange distinctly. Deciding it was time for some eyewear, Steph got himself contacts. The effect was immediate. His shooting improved from 37% to 43%, and he went on a 9-game streak of 5 three-pointers each. Imagine this, if he was that good blind, what could a 2020 vision Curry achieve? We're thinking of next-level video game stats here. The nickname, the babyface assassin, fits him like a glove, not just because he demolished his competition, but also due to a bizarre incident where he almost killed an NBA player. Sounds outrageous, right? Wait till you hear what's next on our list. A game that turned everything upside down. Game 2 of the 2015 NBA Finals was a spectacle of Steph's career spiraling into a dark abyss. His usually brilliant performance turned catastrophic with only 5 successful shots out of 23 attempts and a shocking 2 out of 15 from beyond the arc. Add to those turnovers exceeding assists, making it all-out Steph meltdown. The puppet master behind this fiasco? None other than Matthew Dellavedova. Dellavedova proved to be so unrelenting, he became a basketball's embodiment of an irritating little brother who just won't leave you alone. Whatever Steph felt, Dellavedova was there. Social media was in a frenzy, and Steph, being an active social media user, knew he had to rebound. And oh boy, did he bounce back. In Game 3, Steph rained threes like there was no tomorrow, dropping 27 points. Dellavedova wasn't backing down though. He kept chasing him like a hungry dog after a mailman, but the effect took a toll. Delly was rushed to the hospital for severe cramping and dehydration. His teammates said Steph had nearly driven him to his breaking point. In an interview later, J.R. Smith stated Steph almost killed this man. Did Steph Curry show any remorse? Nah, he let his game do the talking, averaging over 26 points for the rest of the series. You think MJ was a gambler? Believe it or not, Steph dared to place a bet with none other than his mother. When he first stepped foot on the NBA court, he was a powerhouse with flawless shooting, playmaking, and defensive skills. But there was a chink in his armor. Turnovers. They were the Achilles heel in his otherwise solid gameplay, averaging over 3 per game. In a twist that's straight out of a sitcom, Steph and his mom came up with an unusual agreement to help curb his turnover problem. The bet was if Steph had more than 3 turnovers in a game, he would have to cough up $100 to his mom for each one. In the beginning, it was just a few $100 changing hands, but as time went on, the numbers started to creep into the thousands. Fast forward to the end of the season, and Steph's turnover habit had cost him over $7 grand straight into his mom's pocket. Despite the escalating financial stakes, Steph couldn't quite shake his turnover issues, maintaining an average of 3 turnovers per game. Reporters caught wind of Steph's unusual bet. In a comically awkward interview, Steph admitted the check stopped cashing a few years ago, but she still calls out for sure. I guess mothers never let anything slide, not even when their son is an NBA superstar. Heating up things on our list, did you know that Steph once traded his basketball jersey for a detective's badge? Meet Julius Jones, a man stuck in jail for 20 years, swearing he didn't do the crime. It was a horror story of a night, a car stolen, a man murdered, and a guy in a red bandana blamed for it all. Even though Jones said he was just at home, the red bandana and the murder weapon found at his place landed him a life sentence. And it gets crazier. They even set a date for his execution. This whole mess caught Steph's eye. He couldn't just idly stand by. He talked to Jones, heard his side, and decided he had to help. Using his star power, he got his teammates and the fans on board with Team Jones. Why this case, you might ask? Steph's answer was straight up. It's just the right thing to do. This was bigger than basketball. Now, it was bigger than basketball. It was about making things right. The clock was ticking, the execution date was getting closer, but Steph's move started to change things. Believe it or not, the execution got put on hold. Steph, proving he's a hero on and off the court, had made a real-life save. A one-way ticket to hell. Get on the wrong side of Steph Curry. Even though he loves pricey cigars and munches with addiction on a $25,000 mouth guard, we'll get back to that in a moment. There's a bizarre guilty pleasure of his that will leave you in shock. Once, in a key game against the Rockets, Steph had a horrible start of the game. 0 successful shots in the first half. Pretty unusual for this NBA Titan, if you ask me. The Warriors were leading the series 3-2, but they needed their man to step up, and step up big time. So where did Steph go? He disappeared into the locker room. His secret weapon? A pep talk? A serious stretch? Nuh-uh, just Steph scrolling through Twitter, soaking up the heat from all the doubters and the haters. A weird halftime routine, for sure. But for Curry, it's just another day at work. This strange strategy, it works like magic. Fueled by his online haters, Steph came back out like a man on a mission. He bagged a whopping 23 points in the second half alone, nailed the win, and carried his team to another sweet victory. Adding to the quirkiness, another bizarre piece of the Steph puzzle on our list is his pre-game ritual, a casual untied laces stroll to the court and quick handling drills. But things even get stranger. I'm serious. Have you noticed Steph's quirky mouthguard gnawing routine? The innocent habit proved to be a recipe for trouble. On not one, but 2 occasions, Steph's anger got the best of him, prompting him to throw it into the crowd. This decision backfired, resulting in a hefty price tag of $25,000. Ouch. Back in his Davidson days, after a nasty face injury, Steph started using a mouthguard regularly during games, but it was his habit of chewing on it that got tongues wagging, particularly among dentists. One even dubbed it a bad influence on kids, warning about tooth damage and germs, of course. But here's a crazy stat from ESPN that might just explain why Steph can't stop chewing. His free throw shooting improved by 3% when he was gnawing on his guard. So despite the toothy turmoil, Steph kept up the habit and regularly delivered shooting seasons with a stellar 90% success rate. When asked why he does it, Steph's answer was simple. It helps him relax, especially when he's at a free throw line. But you know, what if it helps him nail those shots? Who are we to argue? We should all start chewing on something for a productivity boost, right? But let's be honest, we don't need a mouth guard. Just give us, $25,000 in cash. Just saying. We all know that Steph and LeBron's rivalry lights up the NBA like no other, but their bond is deeper than just chasing titles. These basketball giants, both with 4 NBA titles to their name, were born in the same hospital. You might be thinking, hold on, isn't LeBron from Akron, Ohio, and Steph from Charlotte, North Carolina? You're right, you'd be right, pat yourself on the back, but here's the twist. Take a trip back to 1988. Steph's dad, Del Curry, was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's where and when Steph was born, at the Akron General Medical Center, the very same place where LeBron was born. What's the secret, Akron? Are you churning out future NBA stars? Something in the water? If that's so, just watch out for a rush on the maternity ward in Ohio. One thing is for certain, as we're closing our list, our number 1 spot is reserved for someone whose heart is what truly makes us love him. Through his support for charities like the Animal Rescue Foundation, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and Brotherhood Crusade, he has made a profound impact on communities and lives, donating millions. Stephen Curry's dedication to making a difference is what sets him apart, and it's why he'll always hold a special place in our hearts. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Please leave a comment on which player you'd like us to cover next. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories. Until next time.